Okay, so they have their own CPE, for credits and so forth that, are general, regardless of what state. Typically, just like with attorneys, CPAs have state requirements that they have to keep abreast of. They have to do every 2 years or every year. And what you want to do is target whatever state you're trying to market within. So I had already pulled up Florida. Florida's a little bit different, again, depending upon the state you're trying to market to, which CPAs you're trying to market to. But basically, to become a continuing education provider, whether it's one class or it's multiple classes, they actually have an education provider reporting portal. They also have where you can find an educational content course. And if you click on that link, that's actually going to show you how you can get, how you can actually go about getting your, your class or whatever certified. Now, the board that you would need to select for Florida is going to be for the Certified Public Accounting Board. Every state will be different. Some will have like a board of accountancy. Some will say certified public accountant. If this is going to be a class for, will it be ethics? Will it be behavioral? It tells you what, what actual requirements that they have to have, so you can kind of alter your class. So to give you an example, I don't have anything certified for the CPAs yet, but I will. But one of the things that I do, like my body language class, because I have this certified for the attorneys, this is, kind of a similar process. I had to go through the Florida bar. So your class will have to encompass a certain amount of information that covers for Florida. This isn't going to be for other states. Every state will be different. If I want to have my body language class where the CPAs can actually get continuing education for their CPA license, then I have to make sure that I'm hitting one of these, either technical business, ethics, accounting or auditing subjects. It has to be able to fit into one of those. So I could probably get mine to fit under behavioral. So each state is also going to have a different, different things that they're going to have. You want to make sure that you're including the verbiage that the state wants to make sure your class is approved for whatever continuing education credit they're going to get. So keep that in mind. Every state's going to be different. If you only want to market to the CPAs within your state, so, for example, with Illinois, or if you wanted to just do the CPAs in Texas, you want to go directly through their reporting board to find out how you're going to be able to do that and get it certified, where you can actually market to them and say, hey, you can get, 1 credit hour or, one, CPE is what they're calling it for accountants for my class. So it's going to depend on the state. If you have multiple states that you want to be in, typically, if you get your class approved in one state, you go to another one and show them, hey, the Florida bar lets my attorneys have a general credit and a professional credit. Okay, great. So when you submit the same class, they may give the same thing or something similar, or they may have you skip some type of reporting requirement because it's already approved in another state. But again, every state board is going to be different. No two will be identical in any means. So keep that in mind. But this is for Florida. What I'll do too is, and again, the myfloridalicense.com, their site is kind of wonky, but I'll put this in the chat if anybody is wanting to market to anyone in Florida for CPAs. I'll just put that in the chat real quick. Okay. I'm going to do one more. I'll just go ahead and pull up for Texas, since we have 2 people on here, Texas and Illinois, unless there's another state you ladies would like for me to cover. Okay, so here on Illinois CPA Society, we've got licensing FAQs. Wait, I clicked on the wrong thing, CPE requirements. And see here, Illinois has one too, CPE reciprocity. They have a kind of a little blurb here about that. They have a requirements page. It looks like they want people to get approved as a sponsor through their organization. So this is something that you can do as well. Download this application to register as a continuing education provider. It's 4 pages, and I'm going to put that in chat as well. And some of these, you know, they will charge a fee, like the Florida Bar, they charged me $150 for my class. Just put that in chat if you want to copy and paste. SHRM does like a $400 flat fee, and that will be for up to 12 classes. So every organization is going to be different. So Illinois is obviously easier, clearly, than what Florida is. And let me go ahead and pull up for one for Texas. It looks like Texas is pretty easy to find the information. So education requirements. Let's take a CPA exam. Okay. So continuing education should be on here too.
There's a CPE sponsors on the right, but I don't know if that would get us where
Oh,
we're
there it
trying
is.
to
Yeah,
go.
the little thing here, it's always in the way. Thank you for pointing that out, Andy. So they have their own program overview. Like I said, some of these states, it's easier to find the information than others. So this kind of gives you, and I'll just go ahead and put this in the chat as well. So they also have an application for continuing education classes. And again, normally you have to do this whether you're providing one class or a multitude of classes. So keep that in mind. There's also, let's see, this is a fillable form. So I'll just go ahead and pull that up and you can, I'll put that in the chat too. Yeah, and they do something a little bit similar. So a number, like if you have one class or if you have up to 10, then every year to have it renewed for them to get credit, you pay $400 for that. So that's for, you know, it's basically about $40 per class. So if you have 1 or 2 people registered in it. So again, once you get this, and I will tell you too, approval times, I'm finding they've been all over the place lately. They've been going through pretty quickly. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because things are slowing down a little bit because it's towards the end of the year. So if you're watching this recording, that's going to vary too. Just keep in mind that when you are, you know, registering for one of the, you know, for one of these, if you have up to 4, I recommend trying to do that if you have a multitude of classes, or see if you can add to them as you move forward. What's good about this, you know, and again, it, like, for example, I'm here in Florida, so I could still do this, but the CPAs that are going to get credit will be the CPAs that are in and licensed in the state of Texas. So what is good about that is, again, you get more, you know, a little bit more for your money as far as like if you have, you know, 3 or 4 classes, but see if you can drip feed those. You may have to call and ask your, you know, whatever state you're dealing with, if you can do that, or if they all have to be submitted at one time. This is a pretty lengthy application, but like I said, you can fill it in. But the pricing structures will be different depending upon your, you know, where you're located. Also, what's good about this is that you can still, most of these, and they will ask you this too. I'm just going to flip through just to see if Texas does this. But here in Florida, they will ask, are you going to do your class only in person, meaning, face to face, or will this be a webinar, meaning you're teaching on Zoom? Or is it going to be pre-recorded? Because that will, for whatever reason, they take that into account when they're figuring out how many continuing education credits, regardless of what industry it's in. They take that into account, because if it's a self-paced class, they know the chance that somebody might buy the class, let it run, do the little quiz at the end, and they're doing something else. They're not really paying attention. That does happen in every industry. So they take that into account. So what I've always recommended and what I do with mine is that I get it certified to speak in person and online or webinar format, meaning it's still instructor led. I'm there, but they have to be present at that point in time. They can't just buy the class and take it later. Because like with the Florida bar, my classes would not get the amount of credits that they get if I had it as a webinar, or not a webinar, but as a self-paced online class. So keep that in mind. More credits is always attractive, depending upon how you're going to use this. Now, one of the things I've done with mine, and again, these are just ideas I'm throwing out there, but I use mine as a lead magnet. So with attorneys that come into the program, I definitely would like for them to come in. I let them do the continuing education class. If it's on Zoom, they can do it for free, completely complimentary. When I register them, I ask them a couple of questions. Are you looking for follow-up? And, do you need a follow-up system? Do you need, are you looking to become a speaker? I ask a couple of questions, and then I have down at the bottom, they can check all that apply, or they don't have to check any. And then it registers them for the event. So I have all their information. So even after the event, I can contact them and say, hey, you put on your form, you are interested in potentially becoming a speaker. Is that to get more clients? And then I can have that sales conversation with them. So I've been kind of using mine, the online class, as a lead magnet. Now, if I have a group of attorneys or a firm that says, hey, we have 19 employees, we want you to come in and do this, then yes, I'm charging. And they'll still get their continuing education credit. So there's a couple of different ways you can use that. You can use it as a lead magnet. You can use it as, if you get your class certified and you're calling into CPA firms to say, hey, we have this class and I can come in and do it. It's an hour long, and you just charge them a flat fee because you're coming to them. So you can get more in-person engagements. You could even offer to do them like a specific Zoom class if you wanted to do that. So there's tons of different ways that you can use this. Another good way is to do pre-recorded audio content, but again, chances are they're probably going to cut back a little bit on the credit that the person attending may receive. So if you do that, it is easier for you because clearly they can pay, or you can have a membership-based site like what we do. Membership-based, they pay a monthly fee, and then great, they have access to this content. Some of it they may get continuing education credit for, some of it they may not. So you could use it that way. There's a variety of different things that you can do with classes that you get certified. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? So definitely, look through with each state. Again, it's going to be different. I recommend those of you who are watching the replay, if you're in Colorado, go to Google, type in Colorado State Board of Accountancy. It's going to pull up the site. It's going to tell you what their CPAs, what the certifications are, what they have to do each year or every 2 years, and what type of credit. And you can look and see, okay, are any of my offerings, anything that I speak on, how can that fit under one of those categories, whether it's ethics, behavioral, or accountancy and audits, or is it just going to be considered a general running your business type credit? So figure out which way is going to be best for you, which one of your speaking topics you could elaborate on that. What's also good, another way you can use this is once you get it certified, as you're talking to specific chapters of, even American Payroll Association, there might be some people in there who are CPAs that need that continuing ed. And you can pitch that topic to them to say, look, anybody that attends that's a CPA that's licensed in your state, they're going to get however many credits for this, for this keynote. So that's another way that you can use it. So once you kind of figure out, which state you want to target, how you want to do this, if it's going to be, you're going to pull a certain topic, or if you're going to create a new one, how you're going to use it. You can use it as a lead magnet if you'd like. I recommend if you do that, make it Zoom, make it easy on yourself. Don't do anything overly complicated. Do you want to have it certified to have in your backend content for people to have access to that they pay for? Or do you also want to use it for the events, to, call, hey, they're doing a national meeting and here I have this class and it's an hour long, it would fit in perfectly for a workshop and they're going to get credit. So there's a multitude of ways, and you can do direct marketing with that too, market directly to the CPA firms. If I have not shared with you the CPA list that I have, that is a national list, let me know once I'm done recording, and we can talk about that. But this pretty much concludes how you're going to go about this. When you go to the actual AICPA website, again, they do have continuing education, but that seems to be all internal, what they're offering on their site. They're not really working with outside providers. We have put in a call to see if they have changed that, if they're planning on changing that, and what the logistics are. So as soon as we know, we will share that with you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.